forgetting I've got multi-streaming set up here. Even though I don't think anyone watches the Twitch stream. I should change that title anyways. Just in case. So yeah, let's drop a quick link in the relevant Discord channels. See if anyone's around on this late Saturday night. It's just this link, right? Stream URL. Is this my stream here or what? I don't even know. I think it's this. Right? Yes, okay. Share me link. I think that's good. Man, I can never get my thumbnail resolution to look to be correct. I don't understand. I'm shooting a 16:9 aspect ratio on my camera, and yet it still is never scaled correctly when I go to make a thumbnail. So, yeah, rookie streamer, I guess. I don't know. It's so funny. But yeah, one day I will get my thumbnail to be the correct aspect ratio, but today is not that day. So until then, you just have to deal with YouTube stretching or downscaling my thumbnail. So, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think we're good. Looks like I can get started. The stream seems to be okay. Alright. Yeah, no music tonight though. I'm just gonna try to focus here. I got much better setup compared to my last stream. But I'm not sure why my camera is showing me the information on the actual camera. It should be turned off while I'm live. That's strange. So, might die a bit sooner than usual, but I don't know. Why is that happening? I think I'm in the correct mode, right? Turn camera screen off while in, what is this mode called? I don't even know. Rookie streamer moment again. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it for now. Yeah. Oh, okay, there it goes. Perfect. I'm working on filling in this gap in the platform tonight. So we'll see how that goes. And let me just double check my audio is good. Yeah, it looks like the mic is working. Don't have any music on, so don't need to worry about that. And pull up the Twitch chat just in case. All right. So, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to keep everything in frame, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'm able to keep the mock in frame while I'm working on it, but this is going to be a little scuffed. I'm just kind of messing around tonight with the stream, seeing if having a live build session with this mock is feasible, which I didn't think it was for a while, but wanted to give it a shot anyways, just because this thing is so big. If I zoom out, you can see the scale of this build. It is quite large, so that's why I'm a little unsure as to whether or not I'll be able to showcase the whole mock effectively while I work on it. But I've sort of taken care of all of the back-end structural stuff at this point, so I'm able to hopefully start working on the stonework instead of everything that's going on in the background, as far as structural integrity goes and all that boring stuff. So yeah, the biggest challenge is just going to be keeping the mock in frame, honestly. I took care of some of the, like I was just saying, the housekeeping stuff that I didn't think would be super entertaining before. So I'm hoping can try to fill in this gap. But I'm going to have to turn this around and probably turn off the lights would be the best bet here. But yeah, see how this goes. Okay, it looks like it's still decently in frame. This setup that I have now is a lot better than my previous streams, if you had seen any of those. I got a different tripod set up now, and I got a nice, somewhat overhead view. Let me move my mic. Is that what's in frame? I don't even know what that... Oh, it's the border. I'm like, what is this black thing in the corner here? before we get started, I'm gonna crack open this kombucha, and that'll be my drink of choice for the night, along with this nice little fruit bowl, some watermelon, strawberries, and a little bit of pineapple. So, nice and fueled for a little bit of building on this Saturday evening. And building around this is going to be a little challenging because I have one more cable coming in. Well, you guys can't really see it, but there's a couple of Light My Bricks docks here that I need to keep open so that I can plug another cable into. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because I have another cable coming in that I need to connect a new dock for some other lights on the right side of the build. So that's gonna be like the biggest challenge here. I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do here. I'd like to replicate this hinge technique where I have this row of hinge plates that create this sort of square effect in the middle of the platform, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it because a multitude of reasons, but I think I kind of just have to accept that it's not going to be possible here, unfortunately. So I'm just going to fill in this space here. That's going to be the goal, and leave the area where I have my docks for my lights set up open for now. So if I can take care of, you know, the front half of this section, I'd be happy tonight, that is. But I'm gonna stop talking and try to get moving here. But yeah, I think I've got pretty strong connection here, so should be good to go. Start building these cobblestone sections back up again. So let's just get some plates, some clips. Oh. But been a while since I last streamed, so it's might take me a few minutes to really get going here. But if you're in the stream, say hello if you want. Appreciate anyone who's stopping by tonight. I know it's late. I was not really planning on doing a stream. This was kind of spontaneous. Did the Rebel Lug challenge, the 2-hour challenge that is this afternoon, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm kind of just getting my second wind here as far as building goes, and wanted to make some more progress. But let's see what we got here. Probably lay down a few 2x6s. But first, I'd like to build up this section here a little bit. And I don't have any more of the... Oh, I do have some other panels that I can use, actually. I got lots of these transparent panels, which I was hoping to use for something else, but they make decent filler brick, actually, so it's not the end of the world. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're in grid here, so that's good. I almost just want to throw out a few 2x3s instead of working with these huge bricks. Yeah, that sounds nice and easy to work with. There's this like disgusting corner brick here that's like covered in glue from like one of my old childhood builds, and not ideal, but yeah, for this part I'm just putting in some filler bricks in this corner, so it's kind of hard for me to show that, but that's not really important anyway, so I'm just going to try to speed run this real quick and then get you guys a more appealing shot, can actually see what I'm doing. So just a few minutes here, not even a few minutes. basically there now. But yeah, I swear this will be a bit more entertaining once I get the filler brick down. Yeah, kind of a prerequisite step here. Okay. Okay. And then build that up a little bit. But yeah, this is a pretty basic technique. I know the stonework might look like complicated because I've got lots of different textures, I guess, different assemblies of plates and clips and bars and stuff that make up this, but it's really just bars and clips, like I was just saying. So it's pretty simple, but now I've got the correct elevation here. So I'm actually going to try to move the camera over a little bit so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm doing here. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's see if I can get a little closer. Tilt this like that. And then back you up a little bit. Sorry, working with, okay, I think that's good. Just gotta get my chair back in. But yeah, this mock is super big, so it's a little challenging to get a shot that, you know, shows you what I'm doing exactly when this build takes up like literally all of my desk space. But I think that's a little better. Okay. So I'm not sure if I can, well, I'm gonna need a jumper there and then I can connect that. So that's probably ideal. But I should actually go with one of these long 1x bricks, if possible. Doesn't want to go. Come on. I think that should work. Please. There. Oh, okay, it's just a plate higher. So that's actually not going to work then. Because, oh, no, it was on a 1x1 plate. Perfect. Perfect. Because basically this is the max height I can be at because I need all of these clips to be placed on brackets so I can get a half plate gap to make everything even. And in order to do that, I need a snot brick, so that's at least one brick. So this is the, yes, this is the minimum or maximum height I can be at as far as bricks are concerned. So that works out perfectly. And we're still in grid, so yeah. All right. But yeah, it looks like the stream is doing fine as far as quality goes. Don't see any issues just yet. But you guys let me know if I'm dropping frames or something like that. Okay. But yeah, I felt like just turning the stream on because I've been spending a lot more time on this mock than I should be. And basically what I mean by that is I should have more progress than I have. And I'm spending too much time just on really small, intricate angles that, you know, only I will see in the end. And I'm trying to, it's like that perfectionist mentality. And it's something that I kind of struggle with mocks. So I think the 2-hour mock challenge today really sort of helped check my mentality. Just just, be forced to make something in a time frame that doesn't allow me to be super critical of every decision. And I just put bricks down. So now I'm feeling like I have a, fresh mental. I can come at this from a different perspective than what I have been previously. So, yeah. But I really do need to fill in this gap here, as that's right where the overhang is for this like cliff section I have. So that's something I need to definitely focus on. Just got some of that kombucha. Stay hydrated while you're building. But unfortunately, I'm out of the light gray ingots. So maybe I'll mix in a few of the sand blue ingots here instead. So I'll bring those out. But yeah, we got a pretty solid foundation here that I can start to build up off of. Do I want to do a 2x6 here? Yeah, okay. Probably just go with a 2x4 instead. Sounds a little stronger. Nice, connect everything there. But yeah, like I was saying, the reason why I wanted to go live is just kind of to hold myself accountable and try to be less perfectionist pilled. And I feel like having the stream on, knowing I want to be entertaining, but in this case it's probably not the most entertaining stuff. I'm just laying down some filler brick at the moment, but I'm gonna start doing the cobblestone. But what I'm getting at is I feel like I'm not gonna spend too much time dilly-dallying if I have the stream on, basically. So yeah, this is for my benefit. If you're enjoying this, then glad to hear it. But I am really doing this for myself. But I don't know, maybe you can learn something or get some value in another way. But I'm really happy with how strong this section is now. This is a pretty complex angle that I'm working with here. Just checking the chat. Ooh, there's some glue all over that 1x4. The childhood bricks, really not what you want to see. Am I the only one who had parents who would glue like some of their sets together as a kid, like some of the small stuff that was like probably intended as a play feature to like break apart? Maybe that's just me. Looks like that's 2 plates. We can throw a brick on top. But yeah, it might not look like it, but we are making progress actually. This is something I've been putting off for a while. Let's zoom in. This section of the build, that is, I've been kind of putting off. So I should be able to just put a jumper plate there. Yeah. Okay. And we're good. That's just a 1x1 brick, not a 1x1 by 2/3. This is a situation where you want to have your Lego tweezers handy to get in those little cracks and crevices. Oh. Okay, maybe it was not the move here actually, because now that piece is just... I actually have another thinner pair, but I don't know where they are. They're like I think they're dental tweezers, but that one is going to be like, there we go. Okay. There it is. All right. That connected kind of strangely, but I think it's okay. Sometimes you just gotta keep moving. You know, don't really question it. There we go. But I am gonna have to lay down a jumper plate here at some point just to get back into grid. Looks like now is a good opportunity. Maybe. Like, not like that. Oops. We want it like that, I guess. It's probably better to just go with the 1x2 instead of the 1x3. And then go with the 1x3 on the other side there. Yeah, that looks right. Alright. So, you can't really see on the camera, unfortunately. But those are jumper plates. The black pieces, I think you can see. I don't know. Try to get a bit of lighting. But, I think you can see now. But I was out of grid there. Or I was building on a section where it was built upon jumper plates. So obviously I can just add jumper plates there is what we have in black to get back into grid. And that makes things a lot easier for us. So, teachable moment. Jumper plates create offsets, which you can correct with jumper plates. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Anyways, I think I can start laying down some snot bricks here, but I want to make sure that I'm covering up this gap here. Oh, my hand is completely covering, but this gap right here, underneath my sort of corner here. This is like an overhang section, and obviously I don't want to have gaps, so I think I might be able to put that off for now. But it's probably best to just go like this, and then I can fill in that gap later if I need to. But yeah, this is kind of awkward to work with. It's the best way to connect this. Yeah, this is a little scuffed, because, yeah, I guess right there is probably the best. Tricky. But I know I'm probably going to want to have one here, I guess. Let's see if I can get a better angle. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, you guys really don't need to be this zoomed in, do you? Okay, that's a little better. But yeah, I'm like operating with this mock half off my table, so this is like the best I can do. Let me see if I can move this back a little bit. Sorry for the noise. That is my IKEA lamp that is on its last leg. Yeah, it looks like that's like the best I can do. Just don't want you to be crooked. Okay, that's decent, I think. But yeah, I think we'll just go in with some brackets here now. Man, I'm running low on my brackets. of this variant. This is not ideal. I don't really want to be using my lime ones either, but this dark gray. It's probably what I will go for here, some dark gray. Yeah, so I might have to bricklink some more brackets because I'm really down to my last legs. Or my last, what is the expression? I'm not sure. I think that's where I'll want that one. I mean, obviously I don't want to use white here because that's the gap that I'm trying to fill. So probably ideal to not do that. There we go. I think that's okay. It's probably not the best connection, but it's okay. So I'm just gonna focus on that corner instead of closer to where the camera is here. Bulk plates. That should be the gap. Yes. Okay. But that begs the question, how do you fill in this? So I'll actually need a much bigger plate there. Probably would be best. That's unfortunate that this doesn't fit perfectly. One plate too long. Which means I have to go like this, and then I have that one weird gap. What's the best way to do this then? Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to be ideal to fill in. I'm not sure I have another choice here. I know there's some tech with the limb element that you can do to get a really low profile half plate gap to support this. I don't have a ton of space. Let's see, is that viable here? I'm curious. I'm gonna grab a few of my leaf elements. I doubt this will work, but I'm kind of desperate to get a stronger connection there. So, let's see. What is the minimum space for this to work? Is that higher or is that correct? I think that's correct. But are those connection points? Let's see. Or good connection points? Yeah, okay. So this works. Okay, this is a much better teachable moment than what I was saying before about the jumper plates. I originally saw Grant Davis do this in the Rebel Lug Discord, where you can use the limb element to get a half plate gap at a really low cost. So I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So I can't connect it to those ones. I need to connect it to the farthest stud. Excuse my arm obstructing the camera. But this is viable, actually. And I've already used it in another case, but this is unexpected, I will say. So it's probably best to have it like that, I guess. And then I can connect one stud there. I think this is correct. Or maybe I had it right the first time. Let's see. Let's connect it to these first. Nope, that looked good. Okay, so I don't have a ton of support here in the corner, but this limb is, it's better than nothing. I'm actually not sure if I could have connected it to the part that's actually connected though. Like I was pretty sure that I couldn't, but I'm gonna try. Cause is it at the same height? I think it is. Yeah, I think I had it right the first time. So let's just try that again. Just to be sure. But yeah, if you have not seen this technique, this is actually something worth taking note of, I think. So it looks like this. It's going to be ideal. That looks good. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, obviously this corner doesn't have any support, the back corner. But yeah, limb element has provided us the half plate gap we are looking for. And you can see it only costed me, well, essentially one stud. Well, it's more like two studs, but yeah, I guess two studs is accurate. So I guess that kind of contradicts what I was saying earlier of how I needed the base layer to be this height at the max in order to get my clips in. But I think, yeah, this is maybe even better than that. So, I mean, I only have so many of these pieces, but I'm also running low on brackets. So maybe I end up pivoting to these instead, perhaps. You could definitely make that argument because you can probably make things a lot stronger. Actually, I'm not really sure, but I'm just gonna see what I can do here. So let's get some clips and a bar. And I kind of just want to throw a stud right there. So I might just leave that gap open. But it looks like a pretty good spot to have a clip there. And I gotta remember, I don't want any colors that are gonna stand out in that gap here. So yeah, what does that look like if I just fill that in with, like, obviously I'm not gonna use a 1x4, but what level am I at? So it's the same level. Yeah, I don't know if I want that. Let's see. Let's try to walk around for a minute. So I kind of want to continue this curve. So let's say I'll go with another curve tile. What's that like? have a single one. Okay, there it is. Okay, like that. So yeah, I want to continue this curve, ideally. And I think, yes, that does look pretty good, actually. Let's see. Yeah, and then we have the half plate continuing there. I think that's a nice look. So, let's go back around. So that makes things easy for this point in the mock specifically. And yeah, looks like things are lining up decently. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, obviously I have that one stud poking up, but I kind of like it there because that's like where the ground is breaking up a little bit. So it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I like that, how that's connecting there. And probably want to stay away from the old gray because that's kind of what I've been spamming here to make it look like dirt, like a little dirt patch. So I'm just going to stick with the newer light bluish gray clips here. And this technique has really been costing me a lot of 1x1 tiles in light bluish gray, but I think we're going to be okay. These aren't terribly expensive if I need to get more. But yeah, I do want to control how much I spend on this mock. Just checking my Discord real quick. And kind of be nice to mix in some transparent orange there, which I have not sorted very well, but just need some plates here so it's easy to find. And I think I can probably just go with an ingot there. I just want to make sure I can fill in that gap, so I'll probably have to change that slightly. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Need to build that up a little bit. sand blue ingot sounds good. I like that. Can you see the bracket? No, you won't. So I'll just extend that by a stud. Looks like is ideal. Yes. Would be nice to have some old gray 1x1 plates, but all I have is clips. So if I want to mix it in, I have to have it be the clip. Mix the old gray in, that is. I can probably just go with that 1x2 clip here instead. Seems good. And that's a nice chunk of the terrain solved. So, first line of the terrain filled in, which we can see right there. So, might look a little scuffed from this angle, but from the front it will be much nicer. Let's look at. But yeah, ideally I'd have more of the light bluish gray ingots. I just don't have many to work with, so we're substituting some of the sand blue, which I think looks alright. This one I'll probably go about here. Yeah, these are never like the best bars to work with for this technique, but it's not the worst either. Like sometimes you can space this out a little bit and get another connection. But yeah, that's a little too repetitive, so I'll go with my one clip here. Yeah. Instead of the one by clip that is the brick. It's better to go with the plate and a tile here because you see the underside of the cheese slope, but I like using the cheese slopes when I can with this technique because it looks like more full instead of like a bunch of plates. But this is actually a good opportunity to continue the sand blue here. My big bag of sand blue that I found on, I forgot how zoomed in I am, from the pad wall. So, that's nice. Figure something like that, and then we can go with another one of the bricks with clip. It's probably ideal. But I am running low on those as well. This is very parts intensive technique, I will say, but I do like the way it looks. I think it's worth it. Where are my cheese slopes? Oh, they're not in front of me actually. Okay, and then go with another bar. smaller one here. Probably something like this. That's perfect. But I will build up that section that isn't connected a little bit first. Yeah, I'm not even sure if you can tell that. I forget how I was supporting them in the other sections, but there's a decent way to support the sections that aren't connected to the bars. But this is strong enough, I think, to not really have to worry. I wonder if I can go with another one of those things. Like that. Yes, it's like perfect. Should probably reverse it though, just for some variety. I should invert the orientation of the clip. Something like that. Nice. Making good progress here. But yeah, that will be a nice sort of ruined dirt patch of the terrain, which I think is a nice look. I don't really want to have another one of these here. Let's go with something different. Yeah, that's good. And the manufacturing marks on the tiles are kind of nice here. I kind of like them. I'd prefer if it was more like of a consistent pattern. Like I'm not really using it in any discernible way. They're kind of just randomly scattered throughout. Some of you might disagree with that, but I think it looks okay. Like I'm not super picky about making sure all of my pieces are not showing the manufacturing marks. Like I don't really care. I feel like it adds a little bit of texture here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with plate and then another cheese slope it looks like, or I can just do it one by one tile here, I guess. But yeah, this technique, it's pretty repetitive, not the most like fun to build stuff like this, but the end result is, you know, kind of speaks for itself. I'm a big fan of how this looks. That was actually not ideal. But you kind of do want to have some gaps here and there, so I'm not being super critical of any gaps that might be there, because naturally with like stonework, you're going to see these sort of gaps. So if you want to go for like a nice organic, realistic look, it's something to keep in mind. But here, this isn't connected super well, so I'm going to move that a little bit. There it goes. Okay. But if I turn this around now, you can kind of see where we're going with this. So that is a nice chunk of this area now filled out. And the sign that is going to go on that little black stud is actually fallen underneath my desk. Let me grab that. So I'll just move the camera for a moment. But here it is. in all its glory. So yeah, we've got a nice little section of the stonework carved out there. Still don't have it perfectly centered. There it is. Not sure if it's focusing the sign. But yeah, we got some printed tiles, and it kind of looks like markings on like a sign, and the arrow's pointing a certain direction. So that's not helping things. But yeah, I can turn on the lights real quick, see how that looks all lit up. Just gotta grab my... Where is my power bank? Here it is. So that's not all of the lights, that's just some of them. But really I was just concerned with how this corner looks. And it looks like in the process I've filled in that gap underneath as well. So that's really nice. That's a nice look right there. All right, let's get back to it then. Decent angle. Sorry, just getting you situated again. It's kind of hard for me to make sure this isn't crooked every time I have to reposition things. There we go. Okay. So what's tricky here is filling in this gap, and I think the best way to do that is probably just an ingot or 1x2 tile, but that's not going to cover the full gap, is it? Like if I have it on this stud, it goes right about there, looks like, which I think is okay. I can live with that. Like I was just saying before, with stonework like this, it's okay to have a few gaps here and there, for that, you know, extra layer of realism. So I will probably just throw a ingot here, but I need to make sure it is at a half plate offset to match the rest of my assembly here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I can probably mix in a hammer there, I would imagine. Thor's hammer, I guess. Or am I a plate too low? Looks like it. It's supposed to be a brick, not 2 plates. Oh, interesting. Wait, this is... Oh. Oh, sorry, that's only the case if I'm working with the clips. I don't actually need to go up by half a plate here at all. So yeah. Not sure if I'll be able to fit a Thor's hammer here anywhere. Like I've been mixing them in throughout where I can, but they're kind of hard to work with. Like as you see here, I've got this one on a jumper, but this is a weird gap that it's I don't know, maybe I can fit one just behind here. Let's try that. So first I'll go ahead and get a 1x2 tile here in front of it, like so. I can probably go with a Technic 1x1 just to accommodate that bar a little bit better, like this. I'm not sure that made a difference, but it's thought that counts, right? So yeah, that gap is, whatever. I could have swapped that out for a 1x1 stud instead. I'm not even sure if you can see the gap, but now we're gonna see if I can get a hammer in that gap, which I have here in the bag. So that's a little too high. Try like this. No, it leaves even more of a gap, so I'm not sure it's gonna work. Like, I could fit it in pretty easily like this, but yeah, I feel like I'm not even sure if you were able to see there. No, it looks like you can. Yeah, I might just want to go with like a snot brick here and a tile, or yeah, I'm not sure. That's a bit of an awkward gap, so I think I'm just gonna work on this next row and then go from there. Yeah, that sounds fine. But yeah, we're making good progress actually. Filled in this gap here. Well, I'm working towards filling in the larger gap, but there was a gap that was visible from the other side of this build, the side that the viewer will actually see. So that was good. The underside of the overhang here, and that has been solved just by me filling in this this section here, which is good. It looks like I can use this flagpole piece to get a nice long bar. Yeah, this is actually really ideal for this technique. Nice. And I'm running out of these bricks with clips, which I've really enjoyed using here. I think this is my last. I've got 2 left. So, see what we can do. Get some good value out of them. But I'm noticing I have a lot more sand blue. If I shift the mock a little bit, you can see in the center area here. And I'm kind of lacking it on this right side here, so I'm gonna make the a effort to change that a little bit. Maybe swap this for a 1x1 tile in sand blue, and then I'll go with the cheese slope to kind of connect that, which is what I've been doing. Instead of just having your typical standard connections, I'm trying to connect the detail in some more interesting ways like this. So that's nice. Shift the mock again, get a better idea. So that's a nice little way to get some nice sand blue in the mix there. And ideally, once I get to the next section, I can probably go with like a 1x2 like that and sort of continue that pattern. But we gotta fill in this section first. But it's good to think ahead when you're working with a technique like this. Trying to focus on what the like sort of end result, or I guess the bigger picture, will look like. It's easy to like get tunnel vision when you're working on like a big mock like this. So yeah, just try to be mindful of what the end result is, not just what's in front of you, right? Is what I'm trying to do here, at least. And that, I should add another clip. That doesn't seem very strong in the center here. That's better. Yeah, this is for a convention, so I'm trying to make this as strong as possible. Given that I have to travel very long distance with this mock in a car. If it's not strong, it's not ideal. So yeah, just adding that one clip. It's no more bending. That mock, or that bar is not moving anywhere. So it's good addition. But yeah, I'm trying to have these gaps sort of never line up. I think that is a good way to approach this technique. Is if you have like this really long seam of like a gap, like here I kind of have that happening, but it's sort of being drowned out by the sand blue detail, so it's not as noticeable. But if I were to just continue this line, this sort of gap, that wouldn't be super flattering and not super realistic. Hey, Isaiah. Yeah, this was actually, I've had a few use cases previously, but in this case, like, I didn't really have any other option. I couldn't fit a stop brick here, obviously, with the height that I'm working at. So yeah, it's actually a super useful technique, and I've been incorporating into my builds a lot more recently. But I've got some decent progress here so far. Filled out this section of the platform, and yeah, it's looking pretty good, I think. But definitely need to incorporate some more sand blue, I think. Hey, I'm gonna take a little bite of this fruit. Gotta stay hydrated. Fruit is hydration, right? As I try to speak with a mouthful of watermelon. Yeah, it's literally got water in the name. But yeah, this leaf is surprisingly sturdy. Yeah, I think watermelon is certainly hydrating. I don't eat a lot of melon. I don't know. Maybe it's like never in season where I'm at. We get lots of bananas are a staple in my diet, and apples. But we got some nice variety today. We got strawberries. We got a little bit of pineapple and the watermelon. And on top of that, we got the kombucha. So S tier gut health night. But yeah, I would like to incorporate some more of these Thor's hammers, and I think this is actually a perfect spot for it. It looks like it will fit perfectly, so let's give that a shot. It's kind of hard to fit these in with this technique. Like, you kind of have to be intentional and be like, okay, I'm going to use one here, and like plan it out in advance. But in this case, it kind of just fits the gap perfectly. But I'm gonna need to raise it up a little bit. Looks like by like a plate. But yeah, I'm trying to have as many different types of the stone or pieces used for the stonework, and that is like actually perfect fit for that gap. My goodness, that's amazing. But yeah, we're a little bit of a wash streamer at the moment. I'm trying to get back into it, and but I don't know. I've been making good progress. I will say I filled out like those 2 rows of terrain, built up the foundation here a little bit. Terrain, I mean the cobblestone. But we are running out of pieces, so hopefully I can get a good chunk of this done tonight. But I'll probably be live for another. How long have we been live so far? About an hour, probably another 45 minutes. I mean, when the camera dies, that's when I'm gonna end. But I think tomorrow I'm gonna pick up a new battery, or like a backup battery. So the next time I stream, I can probably do a bit longer, but I think 2 hours, 2.5 hours is good. But you know, when you get into that like creative flow state, that rhythm, it's nice to be able to just keep going regardless of the camera. But yeah, a bit of a later stream. Kind of just wanted to fire it up. Didn't really think too much about it. And that should fit this gap perfectly as well. Or almost. Well, I'm a half plate up, it looks like, so I might have to put this on a bracket, but I can't do that. So this is not ideal. Right, because this is going to be too high. Yeah. So the alternative is going a half plate lower, but that's not really ideal either. Or just literally just leaving it there without a connection. But no, I wonder, can I use the, like some kind of stud inversion here? Let's see. No, I don't think that's... Yeah, there's only so many ways to get a half plate gap effectively, and I don't think I have any ideas on how to do it in this section. But no, it looks like I have space for a bracket, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. But I wanted to have a snot brick with a cheese slope fill in the actual gap, but obviously I'm not going to be able to do that like this. So probably have to switch this 1x2 clip for something else, or I can just move it over maybe. Say like, if I can get it off. Like, no, it doesn't fit there. Okay, so I move this to the other side then, slightly. Tweezers would be huge here. So if I'm gonna go, I don't really like having another 1x2 tile even when I just used one, but I think it's necessary here. Oh, it's so close. I'm just gonna move this over a little bit. Come on. Yeah, that is very tight, but I think it's okay. It's like near perfect fit. That's about as good as it gets, actually. That is so tight. But yeah, that's another line taken care of, or row, whatever you want to call these segments of terrain. I keep calling it terrain. It's cobblestone. Stonework. Whatever. So what bar do I want to use here? Is there ever a case for this? Oh, you know what? Could do something like that with these 1x1x2/3. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, it's something. I don't love it, but it's certainly a look. I don't know. I'll leave that for now. Something different. Mix it up a little bit. Nice way to use this bar, I guess. Oh, but it doesn't actually fit all that well, does it? It's ruining my I have Thor hammers with worse tension being applied to them throughout this mock. But I'm not sure I love this 1x1x2/3 tech. It's just, I'm not sure it really fits with what I'm doing here. But it's a nice option to keep in mind, I guess. What I should probably do is just swap that out for a hollow stud in light gray instead, maybe. And that will probably not have as much pressure against the Thor hammer that it's next to, I think. I mean, it might not be any different at all, actually, but we'll see. Nope, that is slightly better. I think I prefer that if I was to go with something like this, but I don't really want to ruin this perfect Thor hammer connection by like pushing another piece next to it where it doesn't need to. But yeah, I'm just gonna do something else here, I think, that isn't pushing against my perfect Thor hammer connection. Use another one of those flagpoles since they worked nicely on the other side, but probably need to do the same orientation here, looks like. Go like that. It'd be really nice to have a brick with a clip here, but I've basically ran out of all of them. So, gonna have to bridge this gap. With just a clip. So I should probably have another brick beneath it just to support that a little bit, make sure it doesn't move anywhere. So yeah, this is the most riveting stream you've ever seen. just me placing down clips, bars, doing the same technique over and over. But it's good progress. I mean, it's undeniable the progress I'm making. I've kind of been putting off this section of the mock for a while, so this is good for me. Oh, that's not necessary. That's too much support now. Can I just keep this stud here? I think so. Yes. Alright. 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 But yeah, no music, no distractions. We're locked in. Oh, now would be a good time for some more sand blue. Like this? Yes, I really like that pattern we have there. That looks good. Get some more fruit real quick. Break from the action. Okay. But yeah, it's a shame, like, I don't have any use for these because they're just really too big for me to get any value from, I thought. But I don't know, maybe I could sort of try to find a way to work them in. But I forgot to add another supporting clip here again. There we go. Nice. And that's a good reason to throw in some old gray. I like having some of the old gray next to the sand blue because I think it kind of makes it look like a bit of a weathered look. Like in other sections, I've used it to sort of create like a gradient for like a shadow effect. But here, I think it just kind of complements the sand blue a little bit. But it's kind of hard to use effectively. Or, you know what, I feel like maybe you just make this clip sand, or old gray, instead of adding more next to it, and just get to the source. Then, if I want to, I can also add more next to it. Say it like this. Move that over a little bit so it's not as big of a gap. Something like that. And I can also go with a cheese slope in sand blue next to this one. And instead of having it with the back end showing, I can have it sort of connect with that one in front of it there, like this. So you get a subtle indication of sand blue. And then probably just go back to gray. But yeah, I'm running out of 1x1s fast. The 1x1 tiles, that is. So I'm trying to mix in these 1x2s where I can. Let's see if I can get away with one here. And I'm also out of the light gray ingots, so I'm just throwing in the sand blues when I can. I do have the clip that only has one connection point, which will work here. Let's go this way just to mix it up a little bit. And, well, that's kind of awkward. I'm not sure the best way to fill in that gap. I mean, I could just go with some more trans orange there. That would make sense. Instead of trying to get the perfect angle, I can kind of have a reason to rise up a bit. Yeah, that works. Ow. Oops. Yeah, I need to fill in that gap a little bit better, though. Not sure I'm going to be able to. Yeah, that's kind of rough. So, this is not the move, then. I'll go with another clip. And like a cheese slope. So I can sort of bridge the gap here a little bit. It looks like one more plate is needed. Or I could even go with a transparent cheese slope if I wanted to, but I think I want to have it sort of extend out diagonally and be a bit more intricate with how I approach that. So we won't rush to add anything like that just yet. Can I really not fit a 1x1 clip here? I can. That is a nice connection. Satisfying. Just want to invert it though. Yeah, we're getting some nice connections here, I will say. But yeah, I would like to incorporate some more of the Thor hammers, if possible. Because I don't have a ton of ingots. The Thor's hammers are kind of a nice substitute, I think. But like I was saying before, you kind of have to be very intentional. But it looks like I have a nice connection point there. Maybe I can work with. But I need some water. But I don't want to get too tunnel visioned on just what's in front of me. So I'm going to turn the mop around real quick. See where we're at. So that's looking pretty good. I'll turn on the lights one time. Maybe I can turn down the camera lighting. I'm not sure that's helping things. But yeah, looks good, I think. I was really wanting to have that seam. You can't really see it, but the quarter plate hinge technique that I've got here on the right side of the build on the left side, but it's just not realistic, so we settled on what I have here. But I really like, in particular, this little cracking in the stonework here. I think it's a nice, subtle detail. You can't really see it actually at this angle. Well, the 2 quarter tiles there, and the half plate gap that I have, but yeah. Oh, my carriage is falling. Okay. Need to be a bit more careful. The sky is falling. Yeah, I'm surprised I was able to get such a strong foundation here, because there's some crazy weird gaps that I have with this assembly. So it's nice to be able to build off a strong base, and given that this mock is going to be traveling several hours in a car, that's probably a good thing. Go with the yellow snot bricks. Probably the least useful ones that I have to work with here. So let's just get them out of the way. But we are low on the brackets. Very low. This is honestly probably my most used part at this point, along with just basic snot bricks. I can't get away from these brackets. So I do want to leave a gap there. So yeah, I want to make sure I can access these docks where I'm connecting my lights to. So I'm gonna try to make a nice little hole there that I can access later without too much trouble. Man, like, my parts collection is so thin right now. I don't have a single regular 1x2 snot brick. It's all the ones with 2 sides. Oh, there's one. Which I guess actually isn't bad here. Maybe I should use them, now that I think of it, because I can have brackets on both sides, so it's a little bit stronger. So yeah, not too shabby actually. Yeah, I'm gonna use those. Perfect. That's not the right plate. Nice, that's satisfying. Ooh, nice connection. But I guess that means no Thor hammer here. Actually, I can probably fit them in if I want to here. Let's just test that out. Let's see. Or is that just too high? Yes, it is. But that's fine. I don't need to have one there. mix them in other areas, I suppose. Bar. I don't think I have any more of those. Oh, I do. Yeah, these flags are like super useful for this technique. I don't even know where I got all of these. But without fail, I always forget to add a clip in the center. Yeah, I can live with that gap. Not too bad. Oh, I can just move that over. Nice. Yeah, we are making good progress here. It's yeah, not the most entertaining segment of this build process, but it's nice and relaxing. Like, it's yeah, I don't have to do like too much critical thinking here. I'm just kind of intuitively choosing where to place each one of these sort of little assemblies that I'm clipping into the bars. But yeah, I would like to mix in a few studs here and there. That's the one thing that I don't have, which I would like to have. Yeah, I'm like wondering if this is like too repetitive at this point, but looks like I can mix in some old gray here, shake things up a bit. And sort of continue that pattern that I have going. But I feel like I've got a nice balance of sand blue happening here, which is nice. Doesn't feel too forced or anything, at least to me. I think that's fine. I would like to mix in some trans orange here, continue that sort of pattern that I have going on. And the white plate is actually sort of making it pop even a little bit more, which I like. So I think I'll try to continue that. But I think I'm having a nice extension of this trans orange in this like diagonal direction. Or it sounds appealing to me. Like, let's say, or no, I probably need to do the opposite clip here. Let's see. Do I have room to just throw one of these here? Not really. So it looks like another bar is ideal. Just a smaller one. Where are my bars? Oh, put them away. I just need one of those little bars. Here we go. This should be perfect. But doesn't really leave me with a ton of connection points if I have to support it with 2 clips, unfortunately. It's just going to be the space in the center and in between these 2 clips, I guess. Which isn't the worst, but not exactly ideal either. But yeah, the goal here is to continue this trans orange section. See what we can do here. So some old gray would be pretty flattering, or I guess it would make sense to have it next to the sort of section, like it's sort of weathering the area where it is, or like where it's next to, I guess. I think that makes sense. Let's go with the cheese slope if I have any here. I have them in bulk, but I'm not sure how many I have in this little. Yeah, let's grab some from my other bin real quick. Excuse me, tripod. Here we go. See, that's a nice little continuation. I could even go a bit further. Oh, like that. Like add one more plate, I guess. Just right. Yeah, I'll probably want to start going up in elevation, it looks like, to sort of match where it is there. I think it's fine if I'm slightly lower there. It's only half a plate, so it's not like the end of the world. Another one of those 1x2s with the 1 connection point. I don't think so, no. It's unfortunate. So yeah, maybe I rethink that. that's gonna be kind of awkward to fill in. So let's just, or what's my alternative? Going with another 1x1 clip, I guess, and just doing like the same exact thing, same exact angle, I guess. Not exactly ideal. I guess it could look okay. Yeah, I would just have to add a plate next to it, but yeah, I guess it's fine. I'm gonna see what it looks like if I just extend the elevation here where the infection is slightly, because I think that could work as well. But yeah, what if I just extend the height of this bar actually instead? And do it that way. See what that's like. Or is this a full plate higher? Yeah, not exactly ideal either. Of course it's going to be a full plate higher, but so yeah, that's probably the best way to do it here. We'll just add like another plate to this, like that. And then this isn't as bad. Yeah, that's not great, but I can move that bar slightly over if, use my tweezers here. Something like that. Perfect. Where did that clip go with my trans orange, though? It's just disappeared. Did it fall? It did. Or not? I'm not sure. I'll just make another one, I guess. It'll turn up later. Hopefully. Oh, these old gray clips never want to move nicely. Or I don't know, some of them do. It's kind of a mixed bag. I guess it's ones that have a lot more wear or play wear, I guess. Yeah, I can probably go back up a plate here. Or do I just want to go half a plate? Let's see. was right in front of me this whole time. Wow, okay. That's funny. Tunnel vision moment. A little more of the round tiles in trans orange. I do. You know what? A cheese slope would actually be pretty nice here. I'd be able to do that without going up half a plate either. And I could just use this kind of like that. Well, that's going too far though, so I should just put one. And like a cheese slope here. Just gonna be hopefully flush with that one next to it. I know it will be with this. But yeah, that's pretty nice. So I think I would like to change this to just only one tile, maybe. Subtle change, but details, you know? Or, no, a round tile would actually be pretty nice there. Now that I think about it, but means I can't have the white underneath it. That would be too obvious. Go like this. That's more like it. So yeah, just keep extending that. And we'll have a nice little section of the infection there. And go ahead and deploy another flagpole. But it looks like, let me check my camera battery real quick. Still says we're just under half battery, so I'd be surprised if it lasts another 30 minutes or so. I think we're already just under 2 hours, right? Yeah, 1:54. So probably another 30 minutes at most, and we'll call it. But yeah, I should try to get some more studs here, because this area is kind of lacking in studs, but it's kind of to emphasize this dirt patch here, which I have pretty steady. Just not really sure where I would want a stud. So, or maybe try to get another Thor's hammer somewhere in here. Or I don't think I can get it at this height, actually, right? That's what I figured out. Yeah, okay. So just another flagpole then. Kind of tricky to get this half plate gap that I'm looking for here, but what am I cooking? Hang on. What did I have there? Oh, it was the opposite, right? Something like this, I guess. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. I'm not sure the best way of filling this gap. It's probably just a brick and like a round stud or something. there's other studs. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so that's going to do it for me tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out, those of you who stopped by. Hopefully we'll do some more live building sometime soon. Peace.